first story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not wanting to spend a lot of money in my sister's second wedding? Before I begin, it's not that I'm not excited. I am. I'm more frustrated at the fact that she doesn't seem to understand that this isn't the first go-round. My 32 female, middle sister 32 female, was married at 25 and divorced 3 years later. We had a large, 150-person wedding. My family spent a lot of money hosting the wedding, and I personally spent a lot of money hosting various wedding events, bridal shower, bachelorette. When the first marriage was ending, I was there for my sister every step of the way. Went to meet with lawyers with her, was constantly on the phone offering a shoulder to cry on, and have her come and stay with me for a weekend when she just needed to get away. When she began dating her current fiancé, we were thrilled that she had met him, as he is a wonderful person and brings out the best in my sister. We joked around about when he would propose, and were thrilled when he did. We are barely into the wedding planning process round 2, and she's already expecting this wedding to be bigger and better than the last. She sent a list of places she would like to go for her bachelorette party, along with a list of 15 people she wants to be invited. Never mind the fact that we are in the middle of a global pandemic, which will hopefully be much more under control by the time the wedding comes around. But I already spent close to $2,000 on her first bachelorette party. Don't me, she was the first of the friends group to get married. I was making good money and wanted her to have an amazing time. I have no problem doing something on a smaller scale. A day at a winery, which she loves, or a spa day followed by dinner. But I'm not going to put up a lot of money for this. She's already asked us when we are hosting a bridal shower, and has made small comments about gifts she's really looking forward to getting. I will get them something, but the gift I got for her first wedding was broken by her during a fight with her ex-husband. Waterford crystal champagne glasses. Our youngest sister, 30 female, is on the same page as me. She has 2 young kids and currently isn't working due to COVID, so they are relying on her husband's income. The bride knows I do very well for myself financially. It is always hinting that I should be sharing the wealth, especially around the holidays. She sends us dresses for the bridal party, and they are $250 before alterations. I told her that that seemed like a bit much for that, and she got mad and said it was her vision. I feel horrible for my parents, who have offered some financial assistance, but she wants more, and they have tried to explain that this is her second time and it should be smaller. She keeps saying her first wedding didn't count. I want to be a supportive older sister and help her out, but saying that her first wedding didn't count really upset me because my bank account would say otherwise. I have tried talking to her, but I am just a bitter older sister. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for not wanting to spend a lot of money on her second wedding? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. I mean, what? She's getting married, not you. Help her if you can. But if any of my siblings said share the wealth, they'd be getting a year's supply of horse manure delivered to their house. Not the a-hole. If she wants a big grand wedding, again, she can pay for it. Your family was generous enough to fork over thousands for her first wedding, and no one is under obligation to do so again, or God forbid a third time. With the state of the world, I'm sure people's finances are not the same, and there are more important things to worry about, like mortgages or feeding children, versus paying for your sister's second wedding. So tell her to take her entitlement and shove it if she argues. Not the a-hole. If she wants a big fancy wedding, she can pay for the big fancy wedding. Not the a-hole. Her decision to marry doesn't entitle her to everyone's money. It's not about money or a wedding. It's about the marriage itself. Your sister sounds exhausting. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for attending a wedding I'd been uninvited from? My brother, 28 male at the time, married Maggie, 29 female, in 2019 pre-COVID. Maggie is my 25 female at the time, ex-boyfriend's 25 male, sister. They met as a result of X and I being in a relationship. X and I dated for 3 years and broke up in 2018 after he cheated. He is engaged to the other woman currently. Obviously, I was hurt at first, but neither of us were happy and this was a chance to get out. I had no contact with X, never spoke to the other woman and minded my own business. I also didn't treat Maggie any differently because she's his sister. To me, she's just my brother's partner and I always acted like a friend to her. Maggie was definitely a bridezilla. After the engagement, she took control of wedding planning and made all of the decisions. The only thing my brother chose were the suits for himself and the groomsmen, although even then it had to be in a Maggie-approved style and color. Maggie sat me down one day and told me that she didn't want there to be any family drama on her wedding day. She'd spoken to X, and apparently he said he'd feel uncomfortable if he had to be around me at the wedding, especially as his fiancée would be there too. This surprised me because, like I said, I didn't talk to him and was genuinely over it. I reassured Maggie that she need not worry, and she said she'd made a tough decision to uninvite me, and she hoped I understood that it was her day and she just wanted it to be a happy one. Excuse me? It's my brother's day too, and I want to see him get married. I called my brother afterwards. He was aware of Maggie's choice and he wanted me to be there, but he didn't want to upset Maggie by saying no to her. I love him, but he has the backbone of a slug and rarely stands up for himself. My parents were furious at how unreasonable Maggie was being. Since they know full well I wouldn't have made a fuss about X. They talked to her, but she wouldn't budge. Not your wedding, not your choice. I ignored Maggie's request and turned up at the wedding with my parents anyway, and it was a lovely ceremony. There wasn't a wedding meal for me, but I nipped out to grab dinner from a cafe before returning to the reception and having a great time, dancing with my brother, drinking and just enjoying myself. I didn't acknowledge X or his fiancée once. I didn't need to. I was there for my brother. He told me he was so happy I'd attended, and it wouldn't have been the same without his little sister. Maggie didn't kick off, but she gave me dirty looks the whole time, and I could see her whispering to people, who would then also give me dirty looks. After the day, she blew up at me for undermining her and ruining her wedding. Nothing happened. She just didn't enjoy it because she spent it feeling angry. I know, it's horrible to crash a wedding, but I feel like I had a right to be there as it was my brother's wedding too. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. He didn't want to upset Maggie by saying no to her. I love him, but he has the backbone of a slug and rarely stands up for himself. Not the a-hole, but I'm sorry to say your brother is. Having a slug's internal structure is an okay excuse for some transgressions. This is not one of them. Maggie is BA, beyond a-hole. She broke the scale here. I thought the same. Her brother should have put his foot down and stood up to his demanding wife. Not the a-hole, but beware. Maggie's going to ruin your family. Her disrespectful behavior goes way beyond being a bridezilla. That's controlling, selfish, and unreasonable. And your brother is clearly a jellyfish for letting her get away with it. Wait until they bring a child into this world. She'll use the kid as a pawn, just as she did this BS wedding invitation. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't concerned for my brother. Don't get me wrong. He seems happy, but you never know what goes on behind closed doors. So I hope she isn't being manipulative and controlling towards him on a daily basis. He's very shy and easy to walk all over, I guess. So I'm praying she doesn't take advantage of that. Everyone sucks here. Your ex for cheating and then asking his sister not to invite you when he was the one who had a problem and should have been uninvited. The sister for uninviting you. Your brother for not having his family's back. You for crashing the wedding. Haha, that's a fair judgment. We could all do with improving our communication skills. Lol. The next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for uninviting my sister to my wedding for what she told my fiancé? My male 27, fiancé female 25, has an obvious permanent burn scar from an accident that caused her mother, her only parent, to pass away from injury. My fiancé had a long recovery. It's been 7 years. The scar is on her collarbone. It goes down her chest but isn't showing, unless she's wearing scoop/square tops. She often wears hoodies/jackets to cover up. She puts this cream, I don't know what ladies call it, but it's supposed to tone skin color or something? I'm not sure, but my fiancé calls it foundation that is 1 degree brighter than her skin color. I absolutely adore her. She's pretty, smart, ambitious, and the list goes on. What happened was unfortunate, and I'm glad she's at peace with herself and more confident. My family love her. How can they not? She's a member of the family. My mom makes sure she takes part in every family function, and things like shopping and decorating other things. However, my sister made comments about my fiancé's scar several times. I've called her out on her behavior several times to get her to stop, because she was hurting me before my fiancé with her backhanded and insensitive comments. I told my fiancé she had every right to cut my sister out and not deal with her BS, but she has been forgiving and respectful of my entire family. Our wedding is in February. My fiancé went shopping for the wedding dress. This is where the issue started. My fiancé showed the wedding dress to my sister. I didn't see it, but I was told it was a spaghetti strap dress. My fiancé likes this stuff. Anyways, my sister saw it and went nuts. She started criticizing her choice and said that she should have gotten a high neck or a jewel wedding dress to cover up the scar. She argued with my fiancé about it. I went to my family's house and I confronted her. I yelled at her after she told me my fiancé needed to return the dress and get a proper one, so that guests won't focus on her burn scar and use it as a topic of conversation and gossip. I told her that she's not invited to our wedding. She isn't welcome to my wedding with this entitled attitude of hers and her insensitivity and disrespect. We argued for half an hour, then I left. In exactly an hour, my mom and dad called and berated me, saying my sister was crying after I uninvited her, and that I had no right to uninvite her. She's my sister, and she was just trying to help out and give an advice and avoid any unnecessary drama at the wedding. My mom said my fiancé can keep the dress, but suggested to wear a bridal shawl as a neutral solution. I stopped responding to my mom's calls and texts after that. Family members were upset my sister was uninvited and wanted me to invite her again because this will make family look bad in front of outsiders and guests. Now for the top comments. Not day hall. Uninvite anyone who insults your fiancé in my opinion. I'm definitely standing my ground. This is mine and my fiancé's big day. Not day hall. Your mom is ridiculous to suggest your fiancé needs to compromise with anyone on her wedding dress. OP is not day hall. His sister and mother, now those two surely are. That rotten apple didn't fall from the tree. What a small person your sister is. Your fiancé's burn scar is a badge of courage. I work in surgery, and I've done many burn reconstructions. That is no easy road to go down, and your fiancé should be praised for going through all that and coming out the other side with her gracious nature intact. Your sister owes you and your fiancé a huge apology. Your mother can offer one as well. This ew factor is childish and reprehensible. Not day hall at all. She sounds jealous of the fiancé. OP, does your sister have a history of criticizing or being rude to your girlfriends? I know a few girls that seem to hate any girls their brothers brought home. And I was always put off by them because it seemed like they resent anyone that took attention away from them for even a split second. Now, for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not inviting my future sister-in-law's boyfriend to our wedding? I, 25 female, happily got engaged to my fiancé, 27 male, on Christmas after dating for 3 years. This wasn't much of a surprise. He and I had planned on getting engaged after I got my divorce. The only surprise was when and how it was going to happen. My first marriage was at 18 and only lasted 8 months before he left me in the hospital half dead. Yes, it was due to abuse. My fiancé and I announced our engagement immediately and we already have our date set. What can we say? We already have location, date, etc. picked out. We plan on January 2022. Hopefully, everything goes as planned with the pandemic. Of course, the first people we told was our families. This includes my in-laws, brother-in-law and his wife, my parents, my sister and her family, and my fiancé's half-sister, Meg. This is where our problem starts. Meg and my fiancé didn't know each other until they were adults, and they still aren't close. We found out a year and a half ago that Meg is dating my ex-husband. We have told her what happened with my ex with proof, but she thinks it's all a lie to make him look bad. Whatever, it's her choice. We'll leave the door open for support, but I do not interact with her. We told her she will be invited to our wedding, but under no circumstance is my ex to come. This didn't go over well. She complained that she had been with him for years, and her significant other will come to her brother's wedding. That I don't get a say, and I wasn't going to pick and choose who family is. This sparked a big fight that ended in me calling her a witch and telling her she could either come without him or not come at all. We are now getting hate from my fiancé's family, saying I'm in the wrong, that they would keep my ex away from me, and everyone else gets to bring their significant other. We have told them this isn't up for debate, that it's our wedding, so it's our choice. We already have people saying they will boycott our wedding. Am I the a-hole for this? I know my significant other would really like his sister to come, but I can't risk my ex being there. I'm starting to feel like the a-hole for causing drama because I probably wouldn't even notice him there. Now for the comments. Not the a-hole in any way, shape, or form. Do not allow anyone to bring your abuser to your wedding. Hire security if necessary. Anyone who would expect that this is not someone you want at your wedding. Congratulations. Hire security regardless. She sounds like she's the type to crash the wedding. Absolutely not the a-hole. And fiancé should handle his own family. If they boycott your wedding because your ex-attacker isn't allowed to come, that says something about what kind of relationship you should maintain with them. But if anyone tries to argue with you, I'd like you to remember that no is a complete sentence. Don't fall into the trap of trying to get them to agree with you. Just maintain your boundary and let them choose whether they want to come in with you or stay outside. The very next person to give you grief needs a history lesson, not the a-hole. No, the person who almost murdered me will not be at my wedding. Truthfully, I would get a permanent restraining order against him. Were criminal charges ever filed? Charges were filed, but he got away with assault. They tried to get him with attempted murder, but they couldn't prove that he had planned it or meant to end me. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe.
Update. My husband doesn't see how his work wife is trying to destroy our marriage. Original post. I, 31 female. I am at my wit's end with my husband's 32 male coworker Sarah, 30 female, and his complete inability to see what's happening. I'm not usually one for Reddit, but I need to know if I'm going crazy here. Where do I even start? 3 years ago, my husband Mark started working with Sarah. At first, I tried to be welcoming. I invited her to our barbecues, included her in group outings, and genuinely tried to be friendly. Big mistake. She spent the entire time making backhanded comments about everything. From my career, oh, you're just a yoga instructor? How peaceful. To my cooking. I guess not everyone can master basic seasoning. The real problem is that Mark thinks she's just being funny. Last month, she literally threw away the anniversary mug I gave him because it clashed with the office aesthetic. When I got upset, Mark said I was being too sensitive and that Sarah just has high standards for office decor. It was a mug with our wedding photo on it. Some of Sarah's greatest hits. She scheduled a mandatory work dinner on our anniversary. She convinced Mark not to take a promotion because it would mean working with a different team. She posts daily photos of them together with hashtags like #WorkPowerCouple and #WorkSpouse. She tells everyone at their office that she takes better care of him than I do. She changed his coffee order and now tells everyone she trained him right. The worst part? My husband is completely blind to all of this. Yesterday, he actually told me how Sarah said our new house, which we spent months searching for, was charming in a starter home kind of way. He repeated this while laughing. I tried talking to him about it, but Sarah has convinced him I'm just insecure. She's managed to insert herself into every aspect of our lives. They text constantly, even on weekends. She knows his schedule better than I do. She rearranged his entire desk and office wardrobe because his style was too suburban husband. That's what he is. Last week, I suggested marriage counseling. He looked genuinely confused. Of course, he went and talked to Sarah about it. I found out from another coworker that she's been telling people that Mark and I are going through a rough patch and that she's just being a good friend by giving him someone to talk to. We weren't going through anything until she started this nonsense. The breaking point? I stopped by his office to surprise him with lunch. I know. But it was his birthday, and Sarah was supposedly out sick. Guess who was there? Sarah. She'd miraculously recovered and bought him a cake that said, "To my work hubby," with a photo of them from the office holiday party. She saw me and said, "Oh, Amy, you came too. How nice. Mark, you didn't tell me your real wife was coming." I'm not crazy, right? This woman is trying to destroy my marriage while my husband stands there grinning like it's all some big joke. What do I do? Divorce seems extreme, but I'm running out of options here. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. You have a husband problem. Go to counseling and get professional help to communicate your concerns. Remind him that he's married to you, not Sarah, so her opinions shouldn't matter when it comes to your marriage. Good luck, but be prepared for the worst. He made vows to you, and he needs to be reminded. He loves the attention, and he sees something ambitious and good in her vis-a-vis work, and she wants to know she controls him, which she largely does. He needs to open his eyes to what he's doing, driving you away, the woman he promised to spend the rest of his life loving and honoring. He's being a piss-poor partner. He's not blind. That is his mistress, and she has been for years, even before he introduced you. Covertly start your investigation. Get your ducks in a row and blindside him. She threw out a mug with your wedding photo because she's his mistress and didn't want to see it. She scheduled a work dinner for your anniversary because she wants him to show her that she matters more than his wife. She insults you to your face, and he says nothing because he enjoys her jealousy. It's part of their foreplay. He is having and has been having an affair. Your unknowing humiliation is part of it. She's literally trash, but your husband is either grade A stupid or he genuinely doesn't care. I don't know how you've put up with this for so long. So many people would have left him already. Have that conversation one more time with a professional. If he laughs it off again, it's time to inform family and ask him to move out for a bit, while you decide if this is something you want to put up with for life. Oh, and do yourself a favor. Show him these comments. Now for the first update. I posted a few days ago. I really didn't expect my post to blow up the way it did. I got so overwhelmed by all the comments that I haven't responded to any. Now to why everyone is here, the update. Before I talked to my husband, I decided to do some investigating. I started with his phone and read all the messages between him and Sarah. She bad-mouthed me a few times. He did nothing to defend me, but didn't engage either. She was flirty. He wasn't really flirty back. They talked a lot, and he frequently praised her work ethic and intelligence. I didn't see anything about cheating. I checked his email. Nothing. I checked his work email. Nothing. I looked through our other devices. Nothing. I searched high and low for a second phone. Nothing. Everything I found was always dancing on that line. Nothing was outright cheating, but here are the things I found that hurt my feelings. He has lunch with her, and only her, every day in the office. They don't really like anyone else, so they criticize others and say, "Let's talk more at lunch. They're serving XYZ today." He'd say things like, "I'm sure if you were a wife, you would XYZ." He always kept it as a wife and not my wife, but it still upset me. She admitted to breaking the mug on purpose. He didn't get upset with her, just said, "Yeah, the photo gifts are kind of corny." I confronted him. I laid it all out, and while he wasn't upset, he did try to brush things off. He said I was being sensitive and overreacting. I told him that if we didn't have a real conversation about this, I would file for divorce. That got his attention, and he sat down with me. He admitted that at first, he found it odd that Sarah was trying so hard. He saw her doing the same with all the men in the office. The more attention she gave him, the more he enjoyed it. And the more he responded, the more attention she gave until she had her sights set on him. He knew some of the other men were envious, and he liked that too. He admitted that, eventually, he got in too deep. He said he knew it was wrong, but had become addicted to the attention and didn't want her to move on to another man. So he indulged her sometimes, at my expense. He said it was just nice to have two women in the two major parts of his life, stating that he knew we'd rarely see one another. So what was the harm? He reiterated that he never ever physically cheated with her, but admitted it could be called an emotional affair. It was painful, I won't hide that. I mean really painful, like I wasn't enough. I told him that from this point on, he needed to stop communicating with Sarah and either request a transfer or switch jobs altogether. Now folks, I mean it when I tell you this. He lost his shit. He started raising his voice, saying things like he never cheated, it was all above board, and I couldn't control who he talked to at work. He called me a narcissist and a control freak. He told me I had no idea how hard it was, how much stress he had in the office, and that his personal relationship with Sarah helped him a lot. Taking it away would damage his mental health. It got so bad that I started crying. I couldn't take it anymore and decided to leave. I packed a small bag and called my mother-in-law. She's the only family I have here. I gave her a rundown of what was going on, and she offered her home to me. I'm staying here and just hoping my husband calms down so we can revisit this. I want to work it out. I love him more than anything. I will try harder to answer comments on this post, and I will definitely update if something new happens. This has been really therapeutic and makes me feel less alone. Welp, I kind of figured he wasn't that clueless. This is a full-blown emotional affair. From experience, things will only escalate until they are in bed together. Protect your peace, because he sure doesn't give a damn about your feelings. Stay strong. Jumped right from admitted it could be called an emotional affair to he began raising his voice, saying things like he never cheated. Opie made a valiant effort, but it doesn't seem like this marriage can be saved. And you know it's bad when mother-in-law takes you in knowing what's going on. That's what I thought. I'm afraid our next update will be divorce. If my son's wife came to me with this info and needed a place to stay, my husband and his brothers would be over there kicking someone's butt. And Sarah's too. And oh, I wonder what HR would think. Wait, and the other guys are envious? Ew. Typical emotional affair response. He doesn't want it to change, and he is mad that you are holding him to his marriage vows. Emotional affairs are always a slippery slope. Most of the time, they end up becoming physical affairs. He is damaging his marriage, and he is so selfish. He is justifying his actions and turning it around on you, so it will relieve his shame and guilt. Read the book Not Just Friends by Shirley Glass. It's an eye-opener. Not even a slippery slope. An emotional affair is just a straight-up affair with more effort put into it. If you ask a partner who physically cheated on you to stop or you're done, they'll usually just agree to stop, even if they're lying. But this dude fully blew up on his wife for asking him to stop after admitting it was an affair. The audacity to call her a narcissist. Yeah, physically cheating can be easy and require little to no effort. You can go out to a club, flirt with someone, go back somewhere and get physical, then never talk to them again. Emotional cheating requires a lot more work in the long term. Second update. My mother-in-law is on my side and told me point blank that he is wrong. However, she said she doesn't want to get in the middle because she doesn't want to damage the relationship with either one of us. She told me I'm welcome as long as I need, but she won't bring anything up to her son unless he brings it up to her first. As for my husband, he has tried to reach out. He's called, left messages, and texted. I let him know I was safe and left it at that. He continues to message or call every few hours, but we haven't talked. Next story. My husband cheated repeatedly, and now he wants to fix things. I, 30 female, have been with my husband, 38 male, for several years. We dated, got engaged, and are now married. I'm currently 34 weeks pregnant with our baby, and it hasn't been an easy pregnancy. Recently, I found out that my husband has been cheating on me, not just once, but repeatedly, throughout our entire relationship. I discovered videos he recorded of himself with other women, which confirmed my worst fears. When I confronted him, his response wasn't remorseful. Instead, he said, "It all happened in the past. I still treat you properly. You invaded my privacy. Everyone is not perfect." He's now saying he will fix things, but I don't know how I'm supposed to believe that when this wasn't a one-time mistake. It was a pattern of betrayal spanning our entire relationship. I also feel like he's only sorry because he got caught, not because he actually regrets what he did. I'm at a point where I don't think I'll ever be able to trust him again, and I don't believe he will change. I've decided that I want a divorce. Not just because I can never trust him again, but because I don't want to raise my son in a household full of lies, betrayal, and dishonesty. I refuse to let my child grow up thinking that this is what love and commitment should look like. I know leaving will be hard, especially as a single mother, but I believe it's the best decision for me and my son's future. For those who've been through something similar, how did you move forward? Did you ever try to rebuild trust, or was walking away the best decision? Now for the top advice. He can keep fixing it, but you don't need to be there for it. Fixing seems to be this miraculous process that never ends, and we're apparently supposed to give them ample grace while they're fixing themselves, and help them fix themselves, and forgive them when they backslide. It's a scam. Please do not make the mistake of trusting him or not divorcing him. Cheating wasn't the main reason I divorced my ex. I actually found out during the divorce process that he had cheated on me, and it only solidified my resolve to get rid of that loser. I have never regretted it. Given that your husband has done this multiple times, it's clear he will never change, and you can never trust him. You're only wasting your life and your chances of finding a real man who loves and respects you. When you're free, you'll see how good it can be. Never question your decision to leave this dirtbag in the dust. No matter what he promises, how he love bombs you, or how he eventually turns nasty when he realizes you won't allow yourself to be fooled again. I moved forward by leaning on friends and family for help when I needed it, and talking to them about what happened. The emotional support was invaluable, and having a couple of people who could provide emergency childcare was important. It was very hard at first. There were a lot of crying and depressed days when I could barely function at work. But your people do care and want you to feel good. Luckily, my job paid well enough that I was able to support my household on a single income, and I already was, because he was a financial burden. Even if you aren't in a similar financial position, he should still be paying court-mandated child support, so please make sure you get a good divorce lawyer. Last story. Am I wrong for wasting my ex's time because I didn't want marriage or kids with her but got my new girlfriend pregnant? I was with my ex from when we were 18 until 22. Our relationship was good overall, but toward the end, we started having serious issues because she wanted marriage and kids, and I didn't. I was upfront from the start. I never saw myself as a husband or father, and I didn't think that would change. She kept hoping I would change my mind, but when she realized I wouldn't, she broke up with me. It sucked, but I respected her decision. She wanted something different from what I did, and it would have been unfair to keep stringing each other along. She moved on, and so did I. A year later, I started dating someone new. Things moved fast, and about 6 months ago, she got pregnant. It wasn't planned, but after a lot of thinking, I realized I actually wanted to step up and be a dad. I don't know if it was the timing, the person, or just me growing up, but something shifted. I am still unsure about marriage, but I know I want to be involved in my child's life and give this relationship a real shot. My ex found out through a social media post and was pissed. She messaged me, saying I wasted 4 years of her life, lied about not wanting kids, and strung her along when I was willing to do all of this for someone else. She called me selfish and a hypocrite for refusing to build a future with her, but suddenly being okay with it now. I told her that I never lied to her. I genuinely didn't want kids or marriage when we were together. People change, and sometimes it takes the right circumstances to see things differently. I also pointed out that she was the one who broke up with me because she wanted something else, and that was her choice. I never forced her to stay. Was I wrong? 22 would be insanely young to get married and have a kid. I love how X makes it sound like this was such a massively important time to have kids when they're still mentally kids themselves. I had my son at 18, married at 19, and we're still together and happy at 43. So yes, sometimes it does work out, and sometimes it is a happily ever after. That said, I know it's not the norm, and you have to work at marriage at any age. You can wait and get married at 30 and still end up divorced a year later. Not wrong for wasting her time, but you should have dumped her when you realized you two weren't compatible. You did string her along by not ending things sooner. I do feel for her. It sucks realizing you were just not the one. I hope that before you block her, you give her some kind of apology. It can be as simple as, I am sorry I did not break up with you when I told you I did not want children or marriage with you. I did not know what I wanted, and I should have realized that meant we were not meant to be. I thought I made my position clear, and that you were staying because you wanted me. not because you wanted marriage and children from me. I know you will find what you are truly looking for. Please stay well. I am not trying to say what OP did was wrong or evil, but I do think that while his intention wasn't bad, her pain is also real. It will save a lot of drama and pain in the future if he, as a future father, takes accountability for his part and helps everyone move on. I suggest this because this is what I told my husband when his ex harassed me for getting together, getting married, and having kids within a year and a half of his breakup with her. After he gave a sincere apology with some accountability, she left us alone. She is now, as far as I can tell, happily married and pregnant. I have 2 weeks to get away from my husband, plus 8 updates. Original post, April 28, 2024. I, 29 female, have been married to my husband, 30 male, who I'll call Alex. Alex and I met in college during our freshman year. We started off as just friends and got married 7 months ago. I've gotten along with his family, but we aren't super close, just friendly enough. The problem is that Alex has begun to make me incredibly uncomfortable. Firstly, he started asking me who I'm meeting with, where, what we plan on doing, and how long I'll be gone, every single time I leave the house without him. At first I thought he was just being protective and a good partner, just in case something happened. But then he started checking my phone after the visits, vetting and researching each of my friends as well. He's also been pushing me to link my bank account to his, saying he's in charge of the finances, even though he was perfectly fine with keeping them separate before. We fight about it almost every day. Finally, yesterday, when he was preparing to go on a work trip for 2 weeks in California, he demanded I wear a tracker so he could keep an eye on me while he's gone. I can't do this anymore. I feel like I'm suffocating. His family, who I've spoken to about his worrying behavior, just says he's being careful and protective, as a good husband should. I need to gather my things and find a way to be gone before he gets home, without tipping him off. He's always said that if he ever found me cheating, he'd file for divorce the same day. He keeps a filled-out copy of the divorce papers in his desk. I'm going to submit those the day I leave. But there's so much to do, beginning to find a new place to live, seeing if my job has any transfers available, packing and moving in 2 weeks. His return flight is May 11th, so I need to move quickly. I'm posting here because I don't have any close family, and I can't risk dragging my friends into this since we share the same friend group. I just needed a place to vent and ask if anyone has any advice on the easiest and safest way to do this. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. Do not take his divorce papers to submit. Who knows what agreements or stipulations he put in there. Get a lawyer and do your own ASAP. First, contact your job and tell them your situation. They might have an immediate job opening for you. Second, contact any nearby DV shelters and ask them for assistance with your plans. Last, file a police report so they know what's going on, and so your soon-to-be ex cannot file a missing persons report for you. Good luck! Absolutely this. This is beginning stages of the abuse cycle. Constant checking and tracking you is abusive. Pressuring you to combine finances is abusive. Try to get into your local DV shelter ASAP. Have a to-go bag ready, important documents and change of clothes along with money. Let your HR department know. Some places have emergency funds for employees to use to relocate quickly. Edit. Oh my god, you guys are amazing. I never even thought to not use his divorce papers. I'll check for cameras before I start packing or prepping. I may also shred his divorce papers just in case, and will look into getting a lawyer for myself. I'm in a no-fault divorce state. That much I do remember, which should help. I'll update again when I know more. The tracker he wants me to use is a small clip to put on a belt or waistband. I'll wear it unless I'm going or doing something related to me leaving. No pets yet, thankfully. Now for the first update the next day. I've gotten a lot of support and helpful advice, along with questions I thought I should clarify before I proceed with a full update. Some people ask why I'd be hiding things from Alex regarding going out and who I'm meeting with. I don't, and I have nothing to hide. But when he begins double-checking everything, I tell him with the people I saw, down to each person I talked to and what I said, whether I sent any text messages, what I ordered to eat, how much I ate. It starts to feel like I'm slowly being pushed into a corner. It didn't start that bad, but it gradually grew worse over time. All of the Reddit subs my in-laws are a part of are related to gardening and DIY, so I highly doubt they'll see this. If they do, I'll hopefully be gone by then. I talked to my job and explained the situation to my manager. They promised to look into openings in other states and said they'll have an update for me in 3 days. I trust that my bank account is secure. He's tried to get into it before and failed. I found one camera in the kitchen, another in the living room, and one in our bedroom. I've left them in place for now and have done all other planning in the bathroom, pretending I'm taking a bath. I'm honestly staying away from DV services because my sister-in-law volunteers there and is unfortunately in a higher-up position. I have a feeling that if I showed up there, they would know in a heartbeat. I can't look for apartments until I get the update from my job, but either way, I'm still going to be leaving the state. The day before I leave, I'll be changing my phone number and carrier and wiping my laptop and all of his electronics before I go. I've met with 2 lawyers so far and had them look over the paperwork my husband prepared. Both said that it did have some clauses in it that could have caused me problems down the line. What alarmed all of us most was the fact that several of those clauses dealt with future children and not as a hypothetical. Like several of you suspected, I now believe he fully intended to get me pregnant to keep me trapped and tied to him. There are 3 other locations my job could transfer me to. As a precaution, I've started looking into all 3 cities and potential housing in those areas, just in case one of them is the one I'm sent to. Even if they don't have an opening they can push me into, I'll just quit, move, and figure things out on my own. I have enough money to live and survive for a few months until I can get another job. Unfortunately, all of our friends are mutuals and would likely be unaware of the consequences of saying or sharing anything with my husband. I don't have any surviving close family, and obviously my in-laws are not a resource I can rely on. I am on my own, other than the wonderful bonds I've begun to build here. I'll update again if I get more information or if something else happens. Otherwise, I'll update when my work gets back to me. I do plan on leaving before he returns, just to make sure I'm nowhere near here by the time he gets back. I'm downvoting your post, so it's not prominent on hot trending top or front page. Please absolutely use contraception. Don't tell him you do. If you have contraception and he knows about, check for tampering. This is seriously tied to your safety. He's abusive. He will do terrible things to gain control over you. Forget the hidden cameras. The clauses he had written into the divorce papers are extremely troubling. God forbid you had signed those papers. I don't believe for a moment that your soon-to-be ex wouldn't have found a way to get you pregnant, with or without your consent. I know you're pretending you didn't find the cameras, but I would recommend changing clothes either in the bathroom or the closet. That way, he can't threaten you later with naked photos. Also, make sure all of your essential documents are on you, just in case you need to leave quicker than planned. I hope you hear back about the new location by tomorrow. The sooner the better. 10 days remaining. Second update, May 1, 2024. Good news! My job has an opening I qualify for that will not only shift me across the country, but also comes with a salary increase. I've started telling my in-laws and friends that I'm planning a surprise outing for when my husband gets back, just for the 2 of us. This way, people won't give me odd looks if they see me out and about. I've even gone as far as asking my mother-in-law to show me his favorite recipes. Meanwhile, I've found a moving company that, while small, is willing to work in a storm. The reason, in 5 days, we're supposed to get hit with a large storm front. I plan to shut off the breaker and say we lost power, as several people here suggested. I'll even send him a short clip of the storm if needed. All of my stuff will be moved that afternoon, and I'll be flying out once the weather has cleared enough to do so. I have a lawyer who will push my divorce through, and I've filled out the necessary paperwork so I don't have to be here for it. I'm not suing for assets or alimony, and I've shredded his divorce papers. I've set up a cheap payphone plan through Cricket until this is all over. At that point, I'll get a new carrier, number, and phone. This current one is being wiped and left behind. My laptop is provided by my job, and thankfully the IT department inspected it thoroughly. It's clean. No other electronics besides my work laptop and new phone are coming with me. If Alex needs to speak with me, he can do it through my lawyer. Not sure if anything else will happen. My fingers are crossed that he doesn't suspect anything until after I leave, and I'm not turning the breaker back on when I do. He can deal with it when he gets home. My work is covering the plane ticket, so at least that's one expense I don't have to worry about. Third update, May 8th, 2024. It's been a busy week, but I've gotten so much done. Firstly, I'm now out of the house and currently staying in a hotel while I look for an apartment. It's a big city, bustling with people no matter where you look. Back home, a pretty bad storm system hit and lasted 2 days. High winds, thunder, lightning, and even hail everywhere. I didn't take much from the house, just my documents, clothes, and important sentimental items. I left all the furniture and electronics behind. I cleaned the house top to bottom and took photos on my phone, so he can't claim I damaged anything when I left. My lawyer has already started the divorce proceedings, and my husband will be served on the 8th. His plane is due to land early in the morning, and the sheriff will be waiting for him at the house. He's very concerned about public appearances and reputation. My lawyer will also be calling him to let him know I am fully prepared to go public about his behavior if necessary to secure my freedom. I haven't told our friends or his in-laws yet. I plan to do that while he's on his flight to prevent any chance of him getting wind of it before he's served. I will be calling around and explaining the situation to prevent him from twisting it into something it's not. I don't want him claiming I had an affair or something ridiculous, so I want to get the truth out first. I'm doing okay. I'm tired, but I feel jittery and off-kilter. I keep looking over my shoulder and monitoring what I say, even when I don't need to anymore. Hopefully that will fade with time. My work is covering the cost of the hotel, and I'm working on getting everything else in order. I also need to find a new GP so I can get a full checkup just to make sure everything is okay. I don't know when my next update will be, probably when the divorce papers are officially filed or if we have to go to court to finalize everything. I'm trying to keep my head up, but it feels like I'm in a whirlwind with so many things to do and think about. I kind of thought it would be easier once I got out of the house, but while the fear is smaller, the number of tasks only seems to have grown. Fourth update a week later. Sorry I haven't updated in a while. Things got hectic and a bit chaotic, honestly. First, I'm still working on getting an apartment. I've submitted applications to 3 different places and hope to hear back soon. I'm going into work at the new location, so I don't have to burn through my emergency savings completely. I've gotten a lot of emails from Alex, his family, and our old friend group. Question after question. I only sent one return email to Alex, explaining that I don't believe we're truly compatible, and that it's best we separate now. I told him that the way he treated me, when I had done nothing to deserve it, was just as much of a deal breaker as cheating would have been for him. I ended the email by saying I would not be contacting him again, and that any further communication should go through my lawyer. To his family and our mutual friends, I typed one email explaining everything that happened and why I left. I told them I wished them no ill will, but that his treatment of me as his wife and partner was unacceptable. I also said that if Alex remarries in the future, I hope they'll support both partners, not just him. From what my lawyer told me, Alex was livid when he was served. The sheriff ended up booking him for assault on an officer and menacing due to the threats he shouted. His father bailed him out within a few hours. But with the sheriff's testimony, my lawyer believes I have a strong case for a restraining order. When Alex got back to the house, he apparently lost his temper again, breaking the dining table, destroying the TV, and putting several holes in the walls. That's according to one of our mutual friends, who said Alex called him for help cleaning up. Thankfully, I took pictures of the house before I left, with timestamps, to show I didn't damage anything. One of the holes in the wall is at head height. Alex is 6 feet 3 and I'm 5 feet 4, so our friend knew that claim was false. Those photos are going to be crucial, and I'm so glad people here suggested I take them. I never would have thought of that on my own. My work won't share any details of my location, as I work with high-end clients who value discretion and security. That info won't be leaked. And no, I'm not a stripper or escort. I deal with contracts, notary work, and business management. So even if Alex tries to use my job to find me, he won't succeed. Fifth update 2 weeks later. It's been a little bit, and I thought I'd answer some questions before giving my update. It may be a while after this until things change. Firstly, no, I didn't bring my car. The public transport here is good enough to use without needing one. I have secured an apartment, and the building has good security. You need a key card to enter, and there is a security guard at a desk right by the entrance. As part of my lease, I gave them a photo of Alex and his family so that even in the off chance they do find me, they won't be let in. The responses I got from the emails varied. His family said I was overreacting and that I owe Alex an apology for the problems this has caused him. The pending criminal charges put him at risk of losing his job if he's convicted. Alex sent a long email, apologizing and pleading for me to come home. He said he was worried for me and is willing to go to therapy if it will appease me. He wants us to stay together and didn't think leaving was an appropriate response to his genuine concern for my health and safety. The friends gave somewhat lacking replies, saying they didn't think Alex was ever going to hurt me and that I shouldn't let my imagination run wild. As much as I want to say I was surprised by the lack of support, I'm honestly not. He intends to fight the divorce. I'm letting my lawyer handle it, and I'm also pursuing a protective order. Once I was approved for my apartment, I also froze my credit. I've changed my phone carrier and number, and I've made sure none of my documents list Alex as next of kin or POA. Some have asked why I'm so paranoid about Alex and his possible future actions. The answer to that is actually somewhat simple: my grandmother. I loved that woman to bits. As a teen, she explained why my grandfather was never around. He was extremely abusive and manipulative, and her generation didn't really allow divorce. She wouldn't have been able to buy a house or get a good enough job to support herself and my mom. As such, she endured it, shielding my mom as best she could until my grandfather died. When I felt like I might be overreacting, I remembered how she said she wished she could have seen him for what he was earlier, when she might have been able to annul the marriage. I don't know when I'll update again, maybe when the divorce goes through or if something big happens. Until then, I'm just trying to keep my head above water. Sixth update, June 25, 2024. It's been a month since my previous update, and I wanted to share what's been going on in the meantime. The divorce is proceeding, but even though I don't need Alex to agree, and he's not, it means I have to go through the courts to get it approved. As such, it could take up to 6 months to finalize, even though I'm filing without claiming property, alimony, or compensation. I just want a clean break and separation. Alex has tried to use our friends to reach out to me, as he doesn't want to use my lawyer for communication. He says it's disrespectful and cowardly to hide behind my lawyer instead of meeting face to face. He wrote me a letter, which he passed off to my lawyer, justifying his actions and claiming that in today's world, it's dangerous for women to be alone, which is why he was so intent on keeping me safe. He said he was trying to protect me and was hurt that I would lie and hide my dissatisfaction with the marriage and my plans to leave. I didn't reply because at no point did he apologize. All he did was turn everything around on me, saying I was being overly dramatic, emotional, and cowardly. There was a second letter from my sister-in-law. Her letter was honestly disturbing and completely justified my misgivings about ever approaching her in any kind of professional capacity. She spent 5 paragraphs detailing what a real abusive relationship looks like, and insisted Alex was the furthest thing from abusive. The examples she gave were only related to financial and physical abuse, nothing like what Alex was doing. She stated that my attempts to smear her brother's name for attention and clout made me the abuser, not him. I haven't really been able to process that, admittedly. Part of me can't help but wonder if she's right. I mean, I blindsided him by leaving, and I'm refusing to speak with him at all. My old boss recommended I get into therapy after the move, and I think I need to. I've had a hard time adjusting to being on my own. I keep censoring myself, and I haven't even gone out to eat yet. I always end up worrying, what if someone sees me? What if I get in trouble for spending my own money on something frivolous? My lawyer is continuing to push for the divorce, and I shouldn't need to be physically present in court. Any meetings with the judge can be done via Zoom. I'm avoiding confrontation with Alex and his family as much as possible, and passed both letters on to my lawyer in case they're needed. Our friends are mostly still trying to avoid taking sides, and I'm honestly reaching the point of just letting them go. I'm tired of trying to get them to understand. I don't know if anything major will happen between now and then, so my next update may not be until mid-November, depending on how long the divorce takes. Work is going well, and it's helpful to have something familiar to anchor me while so much is still changing. 7th update 4 months later. It's been a while since my last update, as I needed to let the court step in. Alex was still unwilling to grant my request for a divorce. We started with mediated sessions via Zoom, but after 4 of them, it was decided that no compromise could be reached. The things Alex was asking for weren't just ridiculous. I'm not even willing to humor them, let alone agree to them. He wanted me to tell our friends and everyone I'd informed that I made it all up to gain sympathy. He wanted me to pay him damages for defamation and suffering, including wages he lost after being jailed for 2 days. Lastly, he demanded that I return to him and, to quote him, "stop my foolish behavior and act like a proper wife and partner." Yeah, no. So, needless to say, our mediated sessions went nowhere. Thankfully, the judge isn't buying into Alex's act, because believe me, he tried. It took me far too long to see Alex for who he really is, and part of me feels like an idiot for not realizing sooner. But the judge clocked him for exactly what he is in the first meeting. Alex argued with the judge a lot. He was even held in contempt 4 times. I think that's honestly what helped push the process forward. It didn't help that Alex tried to bring in his family as character witnesses, but they were dismissed by the judge since the abuse wasn't seen or heard by them, and as such, they only know part of Alex's character. In his closing statement after approving the divorce, the judge went so far as to call Alex a narcissist and said that if Alex loved himself so much, he should marry a mirror instead. I didn't think a judge could say something like that. My lawyer just shook his head and told me not to react, so we left. So here's the update I'm sure everyone's been waiting for. I'm officially divorced. The documents were processed 3 days ago, and I'm still in disbelief. I have no contact with Alex anymore, nor do I want any. I'm not giving our friends my new contact info. I may not have replied to every comment, but I did read them all. Your repeated reminders that they weren't actually friends helped me see that for myself. Since I've moved far from that place, I'm starting over. New home, new place, new friends. It's been slow. I finally started therapy. It took almost 3 months to get in due to wait lists, and I've been going 3 times a week. It's helping, even with things I thought I'd already put to rest. Alex didn't take the divorce well. According to my lawyer, he did something at work. I don't know what, but it cost him his job. My lawyer also did something unexpected, but something I think you'll all appreciate. He took the letter my ex-sister-in-law sent me and forwarded it to the DV organization she works for, along with a formal statement detailing Alex's behavior and the judge's ruling. She's been let go, and given how tight-knit those organizations are, my lawyer says the likelihood of her getting hired again is slim to none. I actually laughed, a little teary-eyed, when he said that, and added, "Slim is on a leaky rowboat to China." I've been crying a lot lately, but my therapist says it's normal. It means I'm actually processing things instead of bottling them up. I'll try to update again in a month or so if my emotions settle a bit, just to share more details. But I wanted to get this out there and thank all of you for the continued support and encouragement. I appreciate every one of you. You gave me the hope that leaving him wouldn't be a black mark I'd never heal from. Work is going well, and having a routine is helping me stay grounded while the rest of my life begins to stabilize. Congratulations, OP, you're free. Now it's time for you to heal. I wish good things to come for you and that you settle into your new life well. Thank you. Part of me feels like I should notice healing, but while my therapist says it's happening, I don't see it. Not yet anyway. Hopefully soon I will. Last update, November 19, 2024. It's been a month since I was finally able to share the success of my divorce from Alex. My mood swings are still happening, but they don't last quite as long anymore, so I'm taking that as a good sign. My therapist recommended that I sign up for some kind of physical activity to help work out and channel what she called the fight or flight instincts. So, I've joined a local self-defense club and I'm going twice a week. I felt really awkward in the beginning, but everyone has been super nice and welcoming, so it's gotten easier. It's helped, I think. A lot of my jitteriness and anxiety is calmed, and I'm sleeping better as well. I've also joined a book club. It's all online at the moment, but they're discussing the possibility of meeting in person at a local park rather than over Skype. It's hard, honestly. I feel like a kid who just changed schools, and sometimes I feel like it's either sink or swim. My therapist pointed out that if I feel like I'm sinking, I should stop, take a step back, and remind myself that I have control over my actions. If I don't like something, I don't have to do it. I can feel my emotions, but I also need to not let them control or dictate my actions. She also pointed out how I've developed a tendency to try and fix other people's bad moods. She told me they're adults, and it's not my responsibility to manage anyone else's emotions but my own. It's been hard, but I'm getting there. I think in a year, as a celebration of my divorce, I might go visit my grandmother's grave, just to talk if nothing else. As silly as that may sound. I passed on your thanks to my lawyer, who smiled and said, smugly I might add, that he loves giving people who thought they were untouchable the karma they deserve. He added that he enjoys being karma's helping hand. He has kept tabs on what's been happening with Alex and his sister, just to make sure they don't try anything. According to him, my ex-sister-in-law threw a fit when she was let go from the DV center, enough that she was barred from the premises. Seems she shares some traits with her brother in terms of temper. She's now working at Lowe's, apparently. Since she was a volunteer at the DV center, she's now having to pay fines for damages she caused during the incident that got her banned. As for Alex, he's been quiet, which worried me at first, but my lawyer told me he's keeping his head down. He got another job with a construction crew, but with everything he has to pay, he can't afford to lose it. I was awarded damages for emotional distress and harm since he never physically touched me. I was able to prove my statements thanks to text records between us regarding the tracker and not leaving the house without permission. My financial situation is stable, so I didn't need alimony. My lawyer advised against pursuing it and instead focused on compensation for damages. Alex's family apparently hates me now. They've reached out to my lawyer, asking him to pass on the message that I've successfully ruined both Alex and his sister's lives over my lies. Honestly, at this point, I'm getting to the point of not caring anymore. I only have so much emotional energy, and I want it for myself, not to spend on someone else, if that makes any sense. So that's where I'm at right now. It's hard coming up to the holidays and being alone, but a few weeks ago, I found a kitten in the alley next to my work. He's a tiny, raggedy little thing. He's black, long-haired, with 3 white paws, and he's missing his tail. He's got the first vertebra, but nothing else. According to the vet, his mom may have accidentally bitten it off at birth, which I didn't even know could happen, but apparently it does. I'm calling him Bandit, so I'm not alone anymore. But now I have a kitten who thinks everything needs to be hunted, including my toes. I wear slippers constantly because those little claws of his are like freaking daggers, I swear. For the kitten, when they claw you or bite you, in a very exaggerated way go ow. Kittens are used to having litter mates and rough housing. They learn how rough to be based on the responses they get and adjust from there. So the kitten doesn't want to hurt you. They just don't know their own strength. But the loud ow will surprise them, and they'll start to become gentler. Also in that same vein, the best solution for an energetic kitten is another kitten. Oh, and start trimming their claws now. It will save you so much frustration down the road, and also save your skin from marks. Seriously, it's a lot easier to get a baby cat used to nail trims than a grown one who can really mess you up. I may end up adopting another kitten, if only to give him a playmate when I'm not home. I do know that, despite a lot of assumptions to the contrary, most cats are social animals, and I don't want him feeling lonely. Thank you for the advice. I've only ever been around adult cats, so a kitten is new territory for me. Last story. My husband skipped his back surgery and now I want a divorce. So, for context, my husband, 41 male, and I, 40 female, have both had back injuries. I went to PT for my several injuries and got better. I worked my body back from pregnancies, and now I am a bodybuilder. My husband, on the other hand, has spent the last 20 years avoiding work. I can't mow the lawn. I might hurt my back. Even though you're pregnant, you have to do it because you're smaller than me. You won't get hurt as easily. I can't help with the kids. I might hurt my back. I can't clean the garage. I might hurt my back. Those are just some of the things he would say almost daily. I did hurt my back doing those things. As a 4'11" woman married to a 6'3" man, he always put much more burden on me than he was ever willing to take on himself. Fast forward to last year, his discs started breaking down and he began experiencing constant pain. So then he helped even less than before. Around the same time, I injured my back from doing the things that needed to be done, things he never even tried to help with. We both signed up for PT. I went every week and did the workouts at home. He went once and gave up. My back got better, his didn't. I lost 20 pounds and turned my body into solid muscle. My 18-year-old bodybuilding son became my coach. I've always loved fitness. But after our twins were born 6 years ago, it was so hard to find time to work out, especially with my husband unwilling to actively take care of them. You're breastfeeding and they only want you, so I can't help you. His back kept getting worse, to the point where he couldn't bend over at all. We consulted a surgeon, and his surgery was supposed to be 2 days ago. As they were prepping him for it, he decided he didn't want it and walked out. He claims he's not in as much pain and that for the next year or two, he just needs to keep doing what I've been doing, which, of course, means not helping with the kids or the house at all. And somehow that's going to make him better. He's also not willing to join the gym or go to PT. It seems like he really just wants to use his back as an excuse. And I'm so over it. I'm already doing everything myself. Why should I be carrying around his dead weight too? Yesterday, I was showing off my progress, wearing pants 2 sizes smaller than last year, with muscle definition across my whole body. And while I was excitedly bouncing around in my smaller clothes, he asked if I was drunk and told me I looked silly. I told him I don't really care what he thinks anymore. I'm not going to let him put me down and mock me for working on myself while he sits on his behind doing nothing. Congratulations, OP. I am proud of your accomplishments. Please don't let him bring you down. Wow, your son trained you. Wow. Thank you so much. So, no sex? He might hurt his back. Actually, he tells me that. We hardly ever do it anymore. Maybe once a month. What do you get out of this relationship in terms of actual tangible things? Actually, at this point, not much. But having been a stay-at-home mom for years, I'm now struggling to find a stable income on my own that would be enough to support me and the kids without his income.